The fourth stage of the Santos Tour Down Under was the Bupa stage, starting from Norwood, bound for a first-time finish in nearby Uradla. But it was 128 kilometres for the riders, and the temperatures already high at 44 degrees Celsius. For that very reason, the organisation had started the race 1 hour earlier. And for the riders who were taking part in the Bupa Fun Ride, well, for those 5,000 people, their day was cancelled because of the heat. Immediately from the gun, as soon as the flag came in, a breakaway by two riders from UniSA, Zach Dempster and Alex Porter, looking now for a long, hot day in the saddle. The field were in no mood to chase them down. By the time they arrived in Birdwood for the first sprint, they were now almost 9.5 minutes ahead of the field. There was a sprint though for third place because these riders were chasing points for the green jersey competition, and the man in the hot seat here was the winner of the previous stage, Elia Viviani.
Using his teammates to lead him up to the line, you can just see the acceleration as the man in the green jersey comes forward.
Sprint towards the line as they continued, and it was Elia Viviani getting the points for the green jersey, which made that jersey at this moment in time his, because he was only in second place overnight to Caleb Ewan, the race leader in Oka there. Now it's chance for a freewheel as the race continued deep into the Adelaide Hills, heading now for Charleston, 70 kilometres under the wheels. The riders were still clear. The field were being escorted by the team of Elia Viviani as they were again racing for the important third place. At least it was for Viviani, third in the picture here.
Yes, but his teammates went so fast they put time between themselves and the front end of the main field, which gave Elia Viviani a very quick chance to grab that third position and 2 more points in the points competition.
All that was left on the course now was the real challenge of the day, the climb of Norton Summit. Slowly, one by one, the leaders were getting tired, not surprisingly, out beneath the hot sun for hour after hour. Miles Scottson was setting up the race now as they started the climb of Norton Summit. The field were all together. Those in the front were. Some 100 riders were now lagging behind.
Well, at this point, the man who'd won the race 4 times previously, Simon Gerrans, and now a new member of Team BMC Racing, has set a very hard tempo on the climb and reduced the number of the leading group down to less than 30 riders.
The pace did some damage as Gerrans led his teammate Richie Port over the summit in the Subaru King of the Mountains, but it hadn't done the damage that Gerrans had expected. There were still 40 riders could win the stage into Uradla, and there was now just 6 kilometres down to the finish.
And it was a very tricky 6 kilometres as well, with lots of undulations, attacks coming thick and fast. The first one here coming from Lars Bak of the Lotto Soudal squad, covered immediately by the BMC rider in second place, Rowan Dennis.
The gauntlet had been picked up. All of the riders who fancied their chances of winning this race when it ends in Adelaide on Sunday were in this front group. Not least the white jersey down there of the world champion Peter Sagan, as an attack by last year's overall winner Richie Port at 1 kilometre to go. Luis Leon Sanchez, a former winner of this race, right on his back wheel.
In fourth position now, the world champion Peter Sagan, keeping a very close eye on affairs as his teammate Jay McCarthy moved off around the outside.
Through on the inside, Brendan Canty came through as a move now was to take this race out. He was on the back wheel. There was Gorka Izagira as they raced down towards the line. This is a very, very tricky fast run-in. The race had never finished here before. They'd only passed through. But Peter Sagan, the world champion now, was chasing Daryl Impey, the South African. And right by the line, Peter Sagan, with an enormous show of strength, snatched his first ever win in the Santos Tour Down Under as world champion. And indeed, it would be the overall lead as well for him. A marvellous sprint. Daryl Impey, had he won this day, would have been the new leader. As it was, Peter Sagan won the day, and he would become the overall leader as a select group of riders finished together.
You showed us on the climb here that you've got great form at the start of this season. Now you're going to take the Oka jersey, but how pleased are you to get your first stage victory at the Santos Tour Down Under?
For sure, it's very nice. I won already Criterium. Now we continue like this. It's very nice. Every day it's a different winner. Then I think it's also good for organization and for the race. It's very nice.
And You've not put too much pressure on yourself for this race because you've been talking about Jay McCarthy, but you must now be starting to think about the chance of winning overall.
Oh, for sure, we all know why we are here, and for Jay it's a big race. He's racing in home, and for sure tomorrow it's a much harder stage than today.